Hi, so I'm Dr. Albert Tsagikyan, and we are continuing make the videos exploration of very interesting phenomena, parapsychic, paranormal phenomena. Today we're going to talk about lost valuables, and our guest will be very strong person with a very strong paranormal psychic ability, Donna DiPietro. Donna has been helping many people around to find their lost valuables, and we're going to ask her a few questions to tell about that stories, and you would find it fascinating. So stay with us, and if you are really interested, please don't forget to subscribe by clicking at a button on the lower right corner of your video screen. So here we go, Donna DiPietro. Hi, Donna.
Hi.
Donna, thank you very much that you are here today and you're willing to share your very interesting experience regarding lost valuables. So, first of all, you told me a little bit about some of them. First of all, I want to ask you, which one would you consider the most really fascinating and how that happened? Could you tell us a little bit about it?
Well, there's a few fascinating ones, very interesting. But the first one I'll tell you about is I was working in a real estate office outside of Boston, and one of our top agents called me one day while I was at the office, and she said she couldn't find her gold heart-shaped pendant.
Wow.
And so as I had her on the phone, it was very interesting. I was transported to her house, and I didn't know really where she lived. I mean, I knew what town she lived in, but I didn't know what her house looked like.
Excuse me, Donna. What do you mean by transported to her house? Your mind went over there, or you saw the picture
Well, it's
there?
like, I don't know, my spirit or whatever, it was transported to her house, like another dimension. And I was inside the entryway of her living room, and I could see a mahogany chest in view, and I knew that her heart-shaped pendant was in that chest, and I could see white tablecloths in a certain drawer. So as I'm on the phone with her, I'm telling her and what I'm seeing, and I could actually see her coming down the stairs with the phone to her ear.
Really?
Yes.
So,
And she said, yes, I do have a mahogany chest downstairs, and I do have my tablecloths in that chest.
so basically, you have been talking to her over the phone without
Right.
seeing her, but your mind could see her all
Yes.
actions.
Like I'm there, I'm
Great.
there.
Oh, that's amazing.
I know. Try to figure that one out. And I'm very logical too, so
Right.
this is like,
Right.
amazing. So she said, yes, I do have my tablecloths in that mahogany chest, and I could see her walking over to the chest, and she said, okay, I'm opening up the drawer of my tablecloths, and I see the tablecloths, the white tablecloths,
Right.
but I don't see the pendant. And something told me to tell her to lift up the tablecloths, and she did, and there was the gold heart-shaped pendant, and she had no idea how it got there.
Oh, great. And what was her reaction? She probably was screaming out of
I
excitement.
know, she was amazed. Well, she wore it to work the next day.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Is there any other that similar fascinating story that you can tell to our audience, Donna, please?
Well, another amazing thing is that particular day, another thing happened to find a lost jewelry.
The same day, you mean?
The same exact day.
Right,
The
right.
same exact day.
A
at
different
work.
person.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So it's not like we didn't just sell real estate, but I found missing jewelry too.
Right.
So this woman called me. She was a real estate agent from another company, and I didn't know her. And she called and asked for me, and she said, I got your name from this woman that you found something for her. So she said, I lost my gold bracelet, and she said I never took it off, and somehow it fell off.
Right.
So I told her, okay, if I see anything, I'll give you a call. So I was sitting at my desk at work, and all of a sudden I see these visions in my mind, and I see, and I didn't know what they meant. First I saw a gold cup, and then I saw this object that looked like a book, and it was red. And I saw a little brown house. Now to me the house looked like a real house, but it was very small. And I saw yellow flowers, and I saw AX7. So I called her up, and I got her, messaging machine, or whatever you call it, and I gave her this
answering machine, right?
Answering machine,
right? That's
and
all right.
I gave her this information, and so the next morning she called me up. She just got my message, and she's screaming, and she said, "Oh my heavens!" She said in her kitchen, she has part of her kitchen as her office, and she said there were yellow flowers there. She said there's a big red book, and I keep my appointments in it, and next to the book is a little brown house on my desk, and next to that is an AX7 American Express bill. It said AX7 on it.
Right.
And then right next to that is a gold pencil cup. And when I mentioned, the gold cup,
right.
So she looked inside of the pencil cup, and there was her gold bracelet. And she said she has no idea how it got there, but at the time she had 7-year-old twins, and maybe one of them found it and put it in there.
On it. That's really fascinating. That's really fascinating.
Yeah.
Donna, I also heard that you were able to predict the future, 2 of your son's best friends. Can you just expand a little bit on this?
Okay. Well, this was many years ago when they were in high school, and my son had invited these 2 boys over for lunch.
Okay.
So we were sitting at the dining room table, and my son said, "Why don't you tell them, their future?" I said, "Okay." So I mentioned to one of them, I said, "Well, I see you being an attorney, and I see the other one," I told him, "I see him being a doctor." So they said, "No, actually it was supposed to be the reverse, right?"
Right.
But then when they grew up, it did happen the way I saw it.
You saw
One
that.
became
Oh my goodness.
a cardiologist, and the other one became an attorney. But another strange thing that I saw with one of them, the one that became the doctor, I told him that weekend, and I saw a small brown boat, and I told him that it would sink and not to go in it. So he said, "Well, I am going on like a trip with these boys, like a Boy Scout trip."
Right.
That type of thing. And so he said, "I'll let you know after." So a few days later, he called up, and it turned out that there was a small brown boat there, and he didn't go in it as I warned him. So some of the other guys went in the boat, and it did sink in the middle of the lake, but they swam to shore and they were safe.
They saved it. Very good.
Yeah.
So Donna, but your son basically knew about your ability.
Oh yes, definitely.
And he was proud of it. That he was he was fascinated. His friends.
Fascinated. Yes.
But that's a great story. Thank you for telling us about it.
You're welcome.
And I just have a question regarding that future vision. How you saw that one of them becoming the doctor, another one becoming the attorney, or someone told you about it, or you saw actual picture?
No, I didn't. I actually, it just came to me. It's not like a picture though that I saw. I just knew that one of them would be a doctor and one would be an attorney. And
just the knowledge came to you.
Just knowledge came to me.
But no pictures in that time.
No, but as far as the brown boat and all of that, I could see that in my mind.
You could see the picture.
It was like a movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Incredible. And in order to see that, Donna, it's a very interesting point from scientific point. What you have been thinking about first, that picture comes or knowledge comes, or it comes from out of nowhere?
It came from out of nowhere.
Nowhere.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
It's not like I'm even thinking about it. It's up there and it just comes to me.
I'm trying to find out the triggering mechanism that really makes it happen.
I don't know, but it would be interesting to try to find out.
Great. And here another question that I have for you. I heard that you were able to write in Polish and speak German. So the 2 languages you never learned, right?
No.
Can you tell us about that fascinating story and how that happened?
Okay. I was working at New England Conservatory in Boston at the time, and I was the concert manager there. And one day at lunchtime, I went in the ladies' lounge to spend my lunch, and it was very nice in there, right outside of Jordan Hall, the main concert hall. And I had a deck of cards, and I was trying to guess which ones would come up, just for fun, just to spend the time.
Okay.
By myself. And so this woman came in, and she said, "Oh, hi, what are you doing?" And I said, "Oh, I'm just trying to guess what cards will come up, And she said, "Oh, do you tell fortunes?" And that was sort of weird, because fortunes I think of as a gypsy or something.
Right.
So I said, "Well, I don't really like that, but I see things in my mind." So she said, "Well, what do you see about me?" So she sat down, she introduced herself, she said, "My name is Lydia," all of that. So right away, I saw this word in my mind, but it didn't seem like it was English. So she said, "Oh, here, write it down." So I printed out this word, and she said, "You just said my father's name, and you just wrote down my father's name in Polish."
Oh, great.
And she said, "What do you see about him?" And right away I could see him having valuable coins in his pocket being taken away, and I could see barbed wire. And
Wow.
she said, "Yes, my father was captured by the Nazis, and he had valuable coins in his pocket, and they took them away.
Oh.
And he was put in a concentration camp." So I told her a lot of things at lunchtime about her life, in Poland as a little girl. I described her house and all sorts of things. So lunchtime was over, and she said, "Would you come over to my place sometime, my apartment in Boston, and continue with this?" So I said, "Sure." So a few days later, after work, we went over to her apartment off of Commonwealth Avenue in Boston. And as soon as I came in, I said, "I see this girl here. She's pregnant and she's not married." And I said the girl's name, and she said, "That's strange." She said, "My roommate, you just said her name, and
Oh,
she is
God.
pregnant and she isn't married." So that was strange right there, why I'd even see that. But then we sat down first in the living room, Lydia and I described this young man. I said his name was Edmund. He had blonde hair. It was parted a certain way. And I said he has on a military uniform, and he had a letter in his pocket with blood on it. So she went into the bedroom and brought out this beautiful framed picture of her brother Edmund, and gold framed, and he had the blonde hair, just like I described, parted a certain way, and he had on his military uniform. And she said he was found dead in the war with a letter from our mother in his pocket.
Oh, God.
So
That's fascinating. That's amazing.
And then we went out to the kitchen and sat down at the kitchen table. And for 3.5 hours, it was the first time I realized that I was doing mediumship. And it was like I was saying things to her that I didn't know what I was going to say, as though someone else was speaking through me, telling her all these things that were all true.
Excuse me, Donna, you have been listening audible voices, or just
no,
any pictures? Or
no, it was like I was seeing pictures, but what it was like someone was speaking through me. That's what it felt like.
Could you identify that someone? Is that
it was something else, or someone else was giving me this knowledge. They were using me. They were using my voice to speak for them.
Oh, I got it.
And they were from somewhere. They were, not here in person to relay messages.
But you think it might be angelic voice, or it might be Almighty God? What do you think?
I think that it was like mediumship, that people had passed and they wanted to get,
I got it. They message. They got the message delivered.
So as we're going along, I saw that Lydia was crying. And the thing is, as I was saying these things, like mediumship, I could get out of that right away, like, immediately. If someone said to me, Donna, whatever, I could. So this very fascinating thing happened, that I noticed Lydia crying.
Mm-hmm.
And so right away I said, "What's wrong, Lydia?" She said, "You just gave a message to me from my best friend, Anna." And she said, the last time I saw her, she was 15 years old, and she was on the back of a truck being taken to a concentration camp where she died.
Mm-hmm.
And she said that Anna yelled to Lydia at that moment. She said, "If there's any way I can reach you, I will."
Oh, God.
And she said that I spoke in German, and I said, "What did I say?" She said, "You spoke those words that Lydia said at the time. And what I said is, 'This is Lydia, and I am reaching you now.'" So the strange thing is that Lydia waited all these years, because this was back in World War II, before I was even born and all that.
Right.
And Lydia, it seems like she was waiting for someone that she could be in contact with and also come in contact with Lydia, to give her this message. So it's just amazing.
Oh, that's fascinating. So basically what you're telling us, you have been talking in German to Lydia.
Yes.
Without even
I know nothing.
Consciously, right.
I didn't even know what I said. And I said, this is Anna, and I am reaching you now. And that was the promise that Anna gave Lydia many years before.
Donna, what do you think, why, let's say, the spirit or ghost of deceased people had been choosing you to pass their information? I understand no one knows the answer to that question, but what do you think?
I think that they're looking for someone that they can give this, speak
Pass
through
this,
or whatever.
that's their way to communicate with,
and there
right.
might be, and there's probably other people around, but they don't pick up this information. It's just that, like, I don't know what I am, a transmitter or something that they can connect with.
That's a great conclusion. But why do you think that, let's say, spirit of our, let's say, deceased close people, why it's important for them to reach us, to communicate with the living spirits and warn us or give some valuable information? Why that's important for them? What do you think?
I think it's to give people hope that there's more to life than just what we know here on Earth.
Great. That's great. Donna, that's wonderful, fascinating story, and I'm amazed by myself. But anyway, I want to ask you another question regarding that girl that was lost for many years, and after their relatives asked you to give some information about her, next day, as I heard, she called them and she was found. Is that true?
Yes.
How did it happen? Can you just expand a little bit on this story?
I was working in a real estate office, and next door was an insurance office, like a little insurance agency.
Okay.
So the two women that worked there, I didn't really know them. I didn't even know their names, but we would wave to each other, or, we were leaving and all that. So one day, early in the morning, I was at home getting ready for work, and something told me to get ready early and to go into that agency because someone needed me. So I got to work, early, and I went into the agency, and I said, "Oh, hi, I'm Donna from next door." And I told them what I do. I said, "I'm a psychic, and something told me to come here because someone needed help."
Oh, good.
So one of them comes over to me, and she starts crying, and she says, "I need help." She says, my boyfriend, he's been searching for his daughter for over 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And, he and his wife had gotten a divorce, and the wife took the little girl,
Mm-hmm.
and, like he had detectives and police and everyone, trying to find her. And so I said, "Well, I will find her. I will find her for you." And I could picture her being, maybe in trouble, and I encircled her with golden protective energy to bring her home. So the next morning...
Donna, what makes you to confidently made that statement? You still saw something, or someone talked to your spirit?
What it was is that I knew I could do it.
You just knew that?
It was like I put out this energy field that encircled the girl to bring her back. It's like a lasso. So
basically what you're telling me, you are capable consciously regulate or direct your energy.
Yes.
That's important. Okay,
yes,
go ahead, please.
Yes. So the next morning, I went to work, and I looked at my email, And right away, there was this message from the lady in that office. And she said, Donna, she said, last night my boyfriend's daughter called him and she's coming home.
Oh, God.
So the girl now was, you know, like 20, 21 years old. And she came back, her dad and her got together, and everything's been fine since.
But what happened to her, if I may ask? Why she was lost for so many years?
Well, because the mother, maybe they changed the name. I don't know all the details, but he just couldn't find her. And as a matter of fact, that weekend, he had been, you know, again, working with the police and all that to find her with no results. So
oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That's a great story, Donna. I believe these old stories, they deserved to be put in a film, probably like right, non-fiction movie or something like that. So this is a last question. There is any other fascinating story regarding the lost valuables that you would love to share with our audience today?
Well, there's quite a few, I'll tell you.
Just only one. Pick up which one would you
Okay, I'll
yeah.
tell you. I don't know if I've told this one before about the real estate agent who contacted my son to contact me because she heard about me. And she had been showing property in Boston, but she left her purse in the car. And so someone broke into her car and they, you know, and took her purse. So, of course, someone said, oh, call Justin and he'll call his mother and all this stuff. So what happened is right away, I'm on the phone with this woman,
Right.
you know, on three-way calling or whatever. And
Conference call.
yeah, conference call.
Right.
So for some reason, it's like I'm traveling. It's like I don't know how to describe it. Floating or flying over the roads.
That space. So
Yeah,
you
like,
see your spirit
yes,
or
like
fly.
I'm up high,
Okay.
and I'm like flying over the road where this woman was, and I have no idea, you know, where she was really. I knew
Right.
it was a part of Boston, but I didn't know. So it's like I'm being directed to find it. So I saw this kind of a little strip mall, and I knew it was there. So I went in back of the stores and I saw this dumpster, and I looked on the ground and I saw her purse, and I opened it. I know this sounds strange because I'm not opening it as a you know, in a
You mentally opening that.
mentally opening
Right.
it, and I could see in her wallet that her cash was all gone, and her, you know, but her and her credit cards, but her license was still there.
Okay.
So what happened is, so this woman, she immediately went with this other real estate agent, this man, and they went to where I said this place was. And sure enough, there was the dumpster behind the little stores, and there was her purse on the ground. She opened it, and her, you know, her wallet was there, but everything was out of it except for, you know, a few things and her license.
But at least the driver's license
Yeah, the
was
driver's
there.
license was still there. So
It was very incredible story. And what was her reaction, Donna? She was probably still screaming,
she
or
was really amazed, you know.
the whole amazing stuff is that Donna never charged anything for helping the people and using her energy from her kind heart. And it's, as she mentioned, these are only just a few stories. That happen many more. Maybe in the future we'll do another video about that fascinating stories. Again, thank you very much for watching us. Subscribe for the next upcoming videos. Donna, thank you very much for sharing with us that stories. And we appreciate the good work that you are doing using your incredible ability for people and for our society as well. Thank you very much.
Oh, you're very welcome.